Thanks for coming to my channel. I hope that you are having a great day. My name is Tammy, and I'm going to be looking at the My Father's World Rome to the Reformation Synergy Group Guide and how that is used with the teacher manual, what you need to not teach at home, and how those all work together. So stay tuned. All right, so first off, we are going to open up the Synergy Guide Group Guide by My Father's World. Now, this is a free guide that they have provided for families so that you can do My Father's World with your friends. So they recommend 1 to 5 families and no more than 20, I think it is, in each group. But we're going to take a look at, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. We are going to just take a look at this page together, and then we're going to look at the guide, the weekly guides, and see what that looks like for you at home. So the first thing is a note from writer Marie, who wrote My Father's World, and she talks about what is a synergy group. It's a weekly group of 2 or more families, all using the same year of My Father's World curriculum. It's a friendship and accountability with like-minded family, and it's science, history, geography, Bible, memory, art, and music. So all from your My Father's World Teacher's Manual, freeing up more of your time at home as well as speech opportunities for the kids. So we'll dive right in. It talks about how each family needs their own Rome to the Reformation curriculum package to teach at home, as well as God and the history of art. And the group leader and any other parents who are teaching will need a synergy group guide to lead you through the group activities that match your My Father's World curriculum week by week. So I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And the Synergy Guide can be printed for free online. My Father's World provides it. So if you want to look more detailed at any of this, you're welcome to. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead, but addressing that, I do think if you're teaching, of course, if you are using all of My Father's World, you need the complete package. If you're just doing this in a co-op setting, it looks like there's about 3 things that you really need to be able to participate, and that is the student sheets. You need the art book, God and the History of Art, and there was one other book, I can't remember what it was, but that kept needing to be brought to your weekly gatherings. I can't remember what it was, but we'll go over what, as far as art materials and stuff, they suggest bringing. Here it talks about welcome to an exciting year. Rome to Reformation is a chronological history-based unit study for students in grades 2 through 8. You will travel back in time to the time of the Romans and learn how they set the stage by their Pax Romana for the central event of all history, the birth of Jesus. Follow the development of church and study the Middle Ages, culminating with the Renaissance and Reformation. Science focuses on the human body and astronomy. We hope that you will understand early church history and the Bible in a new way, and that God's kingdom will be affected by what you learn this year. And synergy group guides are written so that families using the same year of My Father's World curriculum can meet and participate in group activities are primarily those already scheduled in the My Father's World Teacher's Manual. We will careful not to increase the weekly time or workload for the parent and student. Group activities reinforce lessons learned during the week at home while also giving opportunity for public speaking, public prayer, and group interaction. All right, so it says they could be used with as few as 2 families. It's best to split into smaller groups if more than 5 families join. Attendance of all group members every week is encouraged but not required. Most missed activities can be completed at home. And then they go into encouraging groups to meet Thursday afternoon or Friday. That way families have time to do school in the morning and they've had their time to do their work all week. They recommend groups meeting for about 2 hours a week, and this is their schedule. They have opening prayer for 3 minutes, recite Bible memory verses, current and review for 10 minutes. They give a public speaking opportunity for 10 minutes, history 25 minutes, science 25 minutes, and music and art is 25 minutes. Here they have a suggested synergy group guide schedule, and their recommended timeline is to start early August, end of June, with significant breaks throughout the year. They suggest meeting for 6 weeks, then breaking for 2 weeks. The first week they say, do school catch up, math lessons need to be done, hands-on projects need to be finished, ministry opportunities or field trips, whatever that is, or add in other things. That's when you can do things that you want to add in as well. And then the second week, they recommend taking vacation, no schoolwork, going to visit the grandparents, having a staycation. something like that. And then when you begin your next 6 weeks of school, you'll be caught up and you'll feel rested and prepared, and you'll know that a 2 week break is already scheduled. So I love that idea. And then it says whatever it is, the group leader will set the schedule for the year, and then everyone will know what that is. And no homework is assigned. Activities are designed for grades 2 through 8. Older kids can help the younger kids, and then also younger siblings may participate as they're able to. Parents are expected to attend all the group sessions. The families will teach lessons at home from their My Father's World teacher manual for the same week being taught in the group. The weekly summary sheets list activities from your My Father's World teacher manual that will be completed in the group and won't need to be taught at home. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Then no homework is assigned except for occasional minimal preparation for public speaking opportunities. And then one person from each group is designated group leader. You can pick other people to be a second parent to be a co-leader, or divide the task so that a different leader teaches a specific activity such as science all year. So the parent handout, we're going to look at that in a minute. That's going to tell you, you're going to photocopy and distribute it in the week 1 summary to all the participating families before your meetings every week. The synergy group lists material for each week for the group leader to bring, and then each group will need to decide how to share the expense of any materials that are purchased. In addition, there is materials for family to bring every week, and then there's a school supply box. And so every week, each child will need to bring a school supply box with pens, pencils, scissors, glue, colored pencils, crayons, rulers, and markers. And then there's a leader supply box, and so the leader will need to bring construction paper, copy paper, tracing paper, adult scissors, several glue sticks, several rulers, pencils, scotch tape, masking tape, 2 packs of 3x5 cards, paper towels, and 6-inch plates. And so that is just something to have on hand wherever your group is meeting. And the parents will be told what art supplies also need to be brought every week. So in the planning ahead section, it talks about there's 2 opportunities to display work throughout the year for guests. Each family will have a table where they can display selected items from their children's work from home and group reflecting their studies. Plan to help your children pick out items to bring and display on your family table. Include things such as artwork, projects, costumes, the history notebook, and other relevant items. Review with your children the importance of each item so they can explain it to their students, parents, and guests. And then we will invite friends and family to see the children's work and share foods related to our history studies. Each of us will bring a typical food to share with guests. The group leader will coordinate this to make sure there is a good sampling of food for the guests. So group events for guests are scheduled for the following weeks. Week 13, they'll display our schoolwork and then have a Roman feast. And then week 34 is display schoolwork and have an end of the year party. And just to kind of show you how this works, we're going to go ahead and walk through it. Every week, the group leader will make a copy of the week summary, and then the parents will know what they don't have to do in their teacher guides every week, and that because we're going to do it at co-op, and so they can cross it off. They also know what materials they need to bring for the next group. And I love that they've already done all this for you. But here is everything that you don't need to do in your teacher manual. And I'm going to show you in the manual. We're going to look at a week and I'm going to show you how that works. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Let's get our teacher manual. We're going to go to week 2 and we're going to look at the weekly summary that tells you everything that you're going to be doing for the week. And so if you want to know how the guide works, you can look at my other video about this. But the first one's a speech opportunity, nothing to do at home with that. That's something for group. Monday, if we go down to Monday, we go down to art. We find the lesson God in the History of Art, page 219, lesson 124, perspective. So I'm going to go to my teacher guide. I'm going to cross that out. I don't have to do that this week because we're going to be doing it in co-op. Okay, the next thing, we're going to Wednesday, science. The human body for every kid, page 29, controller, page 29, diagram. So we go down, scroll down, we find Wednesday science, and we are going to skip that, and we're going to be doing that in co-op together. I'm going to cross that off on my weekly load of things to do. Okay, next is going to be Wednesday, art, God in the History of Art, page 220, lesson 124, foreground, middle ground, and background. I'm going to find that. I'm going to cross that off. I don't need to do that at home because we're going to do it together as a group. All right, on Thursday, we're going to play a game called Odd or Even. So I'm going to cross that off. I don't need to do that activity. We're going to do that together at group. And then lastly, English from the Roots Up test on the 2 Latin words that we learned. We've been reviewing all week. I don't have to do those because we're going to do them together as a group. Going to cross those off. So this group activities page is what the teacher will need to have, and this is walks out what they'll be doing together at co-op. And so the first thing they'll do is they're going to pray together, ask the children if they have any prayer concerns, allow us short time for sharing, leader prays for the children's concerns. Then they're going to work on the memory work. They're going to review 2 Timothy 3:16. All scriptures God breathed, useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so the man of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. Then speech opportunities. So we're going to test on the 2 Latin words, and then we're going to play a little game together where I start a story, and then they continue the story by using one of the words from their Greek study. And we go around the room in that way. Then we're going to play a game called Odd or Even. It's a ancient Roman game, and the kids play with stones and hide them, and the other one has to guess where it is, and just a hands-on game. And the last thing is they're going to be doing the art lesson together. So I'll get that out real quick and show you that our lesson. They won't be having to do it at home. And then for science, they're going to be reading pages. We're going to read together pages 29 through 31, read the chapter together, and then they're going to draw the diagram together. And then we're going to do the activity. So they're going to be doing all that in class on Thursday or Friday whenever we meet together. So it's not something that they're going to be having to do at home. So there's lots of different things that they're going to be doing throughout the year. That's just, an example, but it's the same format every year. Whatever's here in this box, you don't have to do at home with your students, because you're going to be doing it there. And then you have lots of speech opportunities. The kids are going to have speech opportunities every week. This week, it looks like in history, they're making a mosaic project. It looks like they're going to be doing an activity about blinking, drawing another diagram for science. They're going to be doing their testing on their Latin words. Here they're making the Roman arch. They're also drawing an arch, which is a lot of fun. See, here they are drawing cubes. They're making a spinner. They're listening to Hayden's music. They're going to be doing playing another Roman game. Lots of games of the time period that they're learning about as well. Be drawing a human skeleton. There for art, they're going to be seeing what's inside a tooth, making a model of a tooth, making a Roman scroll. Just lots of really great hands-on things throughout the year that are just more fun to do with their friends. So they're going to make a woven mat. They're going to be making a compass out of a needle and a little lid. They're going to be having a Roman feast. They're going to be making ice cream with rock salt and everything. Just so many different things. Here we'll go further back in the curriculum and look at some other things. They're going to be eating fried rice when they're learning about China. They're going to be making a rocket, salt dough volcano. They're making a salt dough. They're going to be making craters with flour and rocks and then measuring them to see how high they are. Just so many hands-on things, and it's just going to be a great year. It's going to be a really great year, and I'm super excited. So I'm excited to try it out. Let me know if you've used their Synergy Guide before, and I hope you guys have a great homeschool year.